Welcome back to Redirecting. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how Russia played a significant part in suppressing black votes here in the US. Now, even if you don't vote or you don't care about voting or anything like that, it's very important that you understand what's taking place here. In a recent video, I talked about how the whole world studies black people, specifically us here in the US. I've talked about that in several videos, as a matter of fact, because this is something I've known for a very long time. And so you've got to ask yourself, why do people study us? Okay, now when it gets as far as Russia, then you got to ask yourself what's going on here. There's a reason why they study us, is because they need to know what makes us tick. How do we think? How do we respond to things? So what I want to do is roll a very short video clip, and then I'll be right back to give you some of my words on why Russia is studying us.
This is really important, what I'm about to tell you right now, because there's new information. Two new reports commissioned by the Senate Intelligence Committee looked at data provided by Facebook, by Twitter and Google, and they found that they were trying to suppress African American votes.
The Russians set up 30 Facebook pages targeting African Americans, specifically 10 YouTube channels, 571 videos related to police violence against African Americans. Some of these posts distorted the record of Hillary Clinton and former President Barack Obama.
Facebook ads were targeted at users who had shown interest in particular topics, including Black history, the Black Panther Party, and Malcolm X. The Russian accounts used voter suppression tactics, encouraging black voters to stay home or vote for Jill Stein.
Now, as you see from the video, there was a lot of effort put into suppressing black votes by the Russians. Now, in order to do this, they had to study us. They want to know how we think, what we respond to, what makes us tick. Now, they are not the only ones. A lot of people study so-called African Americans, okay? Not just African Americans, they even study the Africans and the rest of us in the diaspora, wherever we are. But the African American community is targeted very strongly for a reason. And so when they do things, they try to really push certain narratives, okay? And I do believe that many of us respond to these things because it is something that's near and dear to our hearts. When you're talking about our people being targeted by police and by the system, of course that's near and dear to our hearts. But if you've noticed in some of my recent videos, I'm thinking that we should talk more about solutions, right? We are to look at the things that are happening to our people. We are to pay attention to them, even acknowledge them. But instead of coming out in anger and talking about what we would have did if this happened to one of my loved ones and all this other stuff, we need to come up with collective solutions for our people. Because our enemies, they want to see us in an uproar. They do. And I know that in many times in some of my videos, I have expressed the anger that I feel about how our people are being treated. But we have to remember one thing. Those of you who are in the know of what Bible prophecy says, then we would know that these things were said to happen to us, so it must be fulfilled. But also the correction of these things must be talked about as well, in which I do that too. One of my favorite scriptures, which is to me a wake-up call for all of us, it says, if my people, which are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. There you go. Wicked ways. Turn from their wicked ways. The Most High says, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sin and heal their land. And so if we focused more on that and less on what the enemy is doing to us, and let me correct that. Not that we shouldn't focus on these things, but we need to focus on solutions when talking about these things. Okay? We need to focus on solutions because, again, and I'm going to keep on saying this, marching, protesting, and singing kumbaya and we shall overcome and all this stuff, it is not working. Begging and groveling is not working because these people have told us time and time again that they cannot stand us. And so we've got to come up with other ways. And the fact that you have the Russians looking at us, peering at us, studying us, talking about us, that shows you just how deep the rabbit hole goes, in my opinion, when you have leaders of other nations specifically looking at us and targeting us. And it's not that we are special to them. They understand that if they can keep our minds, which is a huge chunk of the tribe of Judah, they understand if they can keep our minds in a certain place, because we live in a deep stronghold. Now, I'm not saying that other places are not a stronghold for our people, but the U.S. is a very deep stronghold for our people. There are certain principalities over the regions, various regions of America, and the country itself have some very strong principalities over it. And so we, as the children of the Most High Yah, we've got to learn how to navigate through all of this. We got to figure this part out, family, okay? Because they are using every tactics to break us down. And when you look at these memes, I want to talk about that real quick. When you look at the memes and the campaigns that were targeted at us, they are trying to get us to focus so much on the problems to where we are not coming up with solutions. That's what I believe. Focus on the problem so that you won't have time to think about the solution. Can you imagine if we started thinking about the solutions? Because there's more than one. There are natural and spiritual solutions that we need to consider. And as long as we are only focusing on the problem, I'm not telling you not to look at the problem or discuss the problem, but when your only focus is the problem, then you are not going to search out solutions or ways to figure out what we need to do. And so that is what I got from this. These countries and these leaders and these people around the world studying us. You even have people on the African continent studying us. They know what makes the tribe of Judah in America tick. And so they are banking on pulling strings from a distance. Okay, let's start this page. Let's start this group. Let's start this. And on the surface, it seems like they want to help us, right? Putting up signs saying, please don't shoot us. I believe one of the memes or one of the groups that says, please don't shoot us, right? And so, again, it goes back to the groveling and the begging. And when they said that Russia is responsible for starting a lot of these groups and circulating these memes, you got to ask yourself, why is that? Because our minds are being controlled. They want to control our minds, our thoughts, our actions. We cannot allow them to control our actions. You know what needs to control our actions? And I already know some of you are not going to agree with it, but the word. The word of the Most High has given us some instructions. And those of you who fight against the Bible, maybe if you read it and understood it, you would know where I'm coming from. Stop saying that this is a white man's book. Think about how they went over to Timbuktu. When they went over to Timbuktu, they started taking a lot of our ancient writings, and they were stealing these writings to the point where the people had to start burying them underground. They had to start burying some of the ancient writings underground in certain regions of Africa, not just there, but certain regions of Africa. They started hiding the ancient text. As a matter of fact, I believe there's a region right now where they were trying to gain access, and these Africans were like, literally like, hell no, you're not getting up in here. You're not taking anything. So what they've done, of course, they have bastardized the text. They have translated it wrongly, deceptively, using the word of Yah deceptively. So I understand when many of you don't want to accept the word and you don't want to believe it because it has been bastardized. It has been tampered with, okay? It has been mixed up and confused. But that is where you have to get understanding from the Ruach HaKodesh. Those of you who don't know what the Ruach HaKodesh is, that is the Holy Spirit. Okay, the Most High will speak to you and he will give you an understanding of things that you can't get from sitting, listening to a pastor. Okay, and so again, if we need to get proper instructions, we're going to have to turn on our spirituality in a way that we never have before. Okay? We have to turn off the television. This is the stuff they're feeding us. Turn off their movies. Turn off their music. Turn off their entertainment and get some knowledge. Read a book. Get an understanding. Okay? Because these people are systematically trying to destroy us. When you have Russians looking into us, trying to control our thoughts and our mind by manipulating black votes, understand what is taking place, family. These people have a very, very diabolical plan, and we are playing right into it. Whenever we ignore our downfall and we're not seeking solutions collectively, we are actually contributing to our own demise. This is why the scripture says, if my people, which are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray and seek his face, then will he hear from heaven and turn from their wicked ways. I can't forget that part. Turn from their wicked ways. Then will we hear from heaven, and he will forgive our sin and heal our land. Okay? Those are the things we must be doing right now, family. We've got to turn from our wicked ways. We are highlighting everything that is being done to us by the wicked, but we're not even dealing with our own wicked ways. This is what we must do, family. We've got to cry aloud, and we've got to spare not. I don't mean to attack each other, because we do that very well. You get on the internet, and that's all you see is Negroes attacking each other over stupid stuff. But if we would begin to learn and hear instruction, we can get up out of this place, family. Okay? Stop with the nonsense attack. Stop focusing on the enemy without focusing on our own issues and problems that we need to resolve among each other. Then maybe we can get up out of this place. This is what we desire, right? Well, it sounds like the ball is in our court. We need to get it together, family. With that, I will say, I love you and shalom. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.